Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for today's at-home full body PMS period relief Pilates session. In today's workout, we are going to be targeting all the major muscle groups while moving through some gentle moves that are going to help with bloating and pain and discomfort relief. So maybe when you're on your period, you don't feel like doing any movement at all. That's perfectly fine. Or maybe you feel like doing something more intense. It's always about listening to your body. I find that on some of those days where I have lower back pain or bloating, I like to move through some of these Pilates exercises. I feel that it helps to keep things moving. It can alleviate some of the pain and pressure and just make me feel all around a lot better. So I hope it does the same for you. With that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start off in an all fours position, with our wrists below our shoulders and our knees below our hips. From here, we're going to arch the spine, rolling the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then we're going to push the mat away, rounding through the spine, and then pushing the hips back toward the heels, coming into a stretch. So we're going to do that again. This time we're going to start that arc right from this position. So we're going to bend the elbows, arch the spine, and slowly come up. Shoulders are down away from the ears. And then we're pushing that mat away, scooping the belly in, and stretching through the spine as we bring the tailbone toward the heels. Let's do that again. Bend the elbows, arch the spine, lift, and then round, separating the vertebra, sitting back on those heels. Inhale, we'll come forward. Exhale, we'll round backward. Moving at your own pace, coming forward on the inhale and rounding on the exhale, stretching the spine. Let's take two more. Feels really good to mobilize the spine if you're experiencing any stiffness. Good. In this gentle way, we're stretching and lengthening. Good. Now we're going to come forward, back into our all fours position. This time we're going to have our spine in neutral. The wrists are below the shoulders, knees are below the hips, and we're going to do some leg circles. So I'm going to start on my left side, just drawing nice big exaggerated circles in the air. Slowly and with control. Keep those shoulders nice and broad so you're not collapsing in the shoulders. And really take the time here to mobilize and open up in the hip. Good. Breathe through it, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Really loosening up in the hip area for 3 and 2 and 1. Now we're going to reverse direction of those circles. So moving in the opposite way. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Move as slowly as you need to. Last 1. Nicely done. Now we're going to move over to the opposite side, lifting that right knee up and circling it in the air, mobilizing that right hip, getting into our Pilates breath here, breathing deeply in through the nose and slowly out through the mouth. Right, let's switch direction with those circles. Good, keep a nice long neck, gaze stays down on the floor, no tension in the upper body. For 2 and for 1, nice work. Now we're going to lower down to the mat. We're going to move down slowly and with control. Use your hands to help you. Soften head, neck, and shoulders down on the mat. And from here, we're going to interlace our fingers, take them behind the head, nice wide elbows, And then we're going to bring the feet together, bring the knees together and the thighs together, and then splay the knees open wide, keeping the inside of the feet together. From here, we're gonna go into some gentle crunches. We're gonna inhale here. As we exhale, we're gonna press the low back into the mat and lift the chest up as we bring the legs together. Nice work. So we're inhaling to open the knees, exhaling to close the knees. And as you do so, I want you to draw your belly button down toward your spine. Breathing out to get that lift. Good. Pressing your low back into the mat. Lifting your head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat. Resting your head on top of your shoulders with every lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. We've got 4 and 3. Last 2. And final 1. Little bit of gentle core activation there can be really helpful. Not overdoing it, but just getting those abdominals switched on. From here, we're gonna now switch on the lower body with some bridging, but we're gonna start off with some pelvic tilts. So I'd like you to place your hands on your abdomen, kind of creating a triangular shape. Between those hands, we're gonna start off with the spine in neutral, so we've got a little bit of space between the low back and the mat. Now from here, we're going to tilt the pelvis forward, exaggerating that arc in the low back, keeping the bum down on the floor, and then we're gonna tilt the pelvis back, pressing the low back into the mat without lifting or engaging the glutes. So we're going to inhale, tilt forward, arching the spine, and exhale, pressing low back into the mat. Inhale, tilt forward, exhale, pressing low back into the mat. Feels really good to connect the low back with the mat and to move the pelvis into different positions, which changes the position of the lumbar spine as we do so. Good. Inhale, forward, arch. Exhale, tilt the pelvis back, engaging the abs and pressing the low back firmly down onto the floor. Let's take 2 more. Inhale, forward, and exhale back. Last one. Inhale, forward, and as you exhale, tilt your pelvis back, and now keep your low back pressing into the floor. From that flat back position, we're gonna peel up into bridge. So make sure your feet are parallel here. We're gonna inhale and exhale to peel the low back off the mat, peel the mid back off the mat, peel the upper back up off the mat so you're onto your shoulders. Now from here, we're gonna take our arms overhead, stretching and lengthening through those fingers and lower down. Keep reaching through those fingers as you lower each individual vertebra back down to the mat. Nicely done. Let's take the hands by the sides, tilt the pelvis back, peel up 1 vertebra at a time, reach the arms back, stretch and lengthen through your fingers, and roll down, stretching your spine as you go. Arms to the side, tilt the pelvis back, peel your spine up off the mat, into bridge, reaching and stretching, and lowering, creating space between the vertebra as you do. Good. Tilt the pelvis back, lift up into bridge, not so you're overarching the spine. Keep that spine in neutral, and then reach away from yourself as you lower down 1 vertebra at a time. 2 more. Lift, stretch and lengthen. Stretch the spine as you reach those fingertips away and lower down. Last one. Lift, stretch, keep stretching back as you lower down. Amazing work. Now, we're going to tilt the pelvis back, elevate back into bridge. Switching on the back body here, make sure your heels are below your knees and your legs are hip distance apart. Pressing your arms into the mat for support and stability. We're gonna open the knees wide, and then bring them back to parallel. Open and back to parallel. Good. Inhale and exhale. Working gently into the glutes and thighs here. Again, keep that tailbone tucked so you're not compromising your low back. Inhale and exhale. Let's do 5, 4, gently squeezing the glutes for 3, for 2, abs in, and last 1, and lower with control. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Take your right hand over your right knee, left hand over your left knee, and just circle those knees in opposite directions. For 3, and 2, and 1. Nice work. Lower your feet down to the floor, and we're going to get into position for a little bit more ab work. Again, nothing too intense, but some core activation definitely always makes me feel good. So I'm going to stretch the right leg out long, keeping the left leg bent. From here, we're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to come up, bringing the forehead toward the knee. Stretch the right leg out long, and then bring it back in. This time we're going to cross over, bringing left elbow toward right knee. We're going to switch between the two. So in, straight, and then cross over, and lower down. Good. Get into that deep breath work. As you lower, you're inhaling, and as you lift, you're exhaling, drawing your navel down toward the mat, pressing your low back onto the floor. Bring it in, and cross it over. Nice work. Now have a look at that bent knee, that left leg. It should be fairly still and stationary. So you don't want it sort of rocking from side to side. If that's happening, you might need to focus more on your core engagement, your pelvic stability, and also maybe moving more slowly and with control. So not jerking your head, neck, and shoulders up or crossing over too much that you're letting your left hip lift off the floor. Good. We've got 3 and 2, working into those obliques as we cross over, and last 1, and cross it over. Amazing work. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. So the left leg extends, point through the toes, inhale here, and exhale to bring it in, and then cross it over. Nicely done. And cross over. Get into that breath. It really helps. Good. Head rests heavy in the hands. This is a gentle movement. You can slow it down if you need to, but really focus on that stability in the lower body and that core activation as you breathe out. Good work. Pressing that low back onto the floor as we lift head, neck, and shoulders. We've got 3. Last 2. And final 1. Nicely done. Okay, amazing work. Now we're going to stretch out our hamstrings a little bit and focus on working into those hip flexors and mobilizing the hips. So I'd like you to draw your right knee in towards your chest, really enjoying the stretch here, and then lengthen that right leg. Now you can either take a hold of your thigh or you can grab onto the back of your calf to really stretch all the way up the back of the leg. Inhale, bend at the knee. Exhale, straighten that leg. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten and stretch the leg a little bit closer towards you. Inhale. Last one, exhale, stretch and lengthen, and then lower your hands back down onto your abdomen, making that triangular shape from here, we're gonna go into some leg circles. If it's too much with a straight leg, I'd like you to slightly bend your knee. We're going to circle, sweep the right leg past the left knee, circle up and around and pause. Inhale and exhale, pausing on the starting point. Inhale, circle down, up and around and pause. Now your hands on your pelvis here, or on either between your pelvis, are an indication that giving you an indication that you're gently contracting your abdominals to breathe out, and you're also not rocking around in those hips. You don't want to be swaying from side to side. So you should feel those abdominals engaging and also feel for that pelvic stability. Let's switch directions. Good, pressing your low back into the mat, moving with control. Imagine you have a teacup balanced on your left knee. Try not to let it spill. Good. Nice stable pelvis here. Working into those hip flexors and those abdominals. Last circle. And bend at the knee, lower down. Amazing work. Now from here, we're gonna bring the opposite knee in toward the chest, hug it in close, and then stretch and lengthen all the way up the back of the leg. Inhale to bend, exhale, stretch. A hamstring stretch can be really challenging, but it's also energizing when you're feeling fatigued. Inhale and exhale, and it can also really help with lower back pain. So you can either put your hands on your pelvis or on your lower abdominals again, or you can just place your hands down on the side of your mat if you would prefer. We're going to start those circles, circling down, around, and then pausing at the start point. Sweeping past bent knee and up. Focusing on that pelvic stability, working those hip flexors and those lower abs. Nice work. Inhaling and exhaling. If you're losing control, imagining that teacup on your right knee now, slow it down or make the circles smaller. Remember, you can also bend the knee. Let's reverse direction with those circles. Good. Breathing through it. We've got 3 and 2 and final 1. Pause and bend the knees. Great work. Now let's bring ourselves up onto our forearms. So we want the elbows below the shoulders. We don't want any rounding in the low back here, so really press yourself up through those elbows, nice open chest. We're gonna move into some leg lifts here to just focus on those lower abdominals. So we're going to point the toes and turn the heels slightly in. We're gonna inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Good. Lift and lower. So you're alternating sides. You're inhaling to lift the leg, and as you exhale to lower, I want you to draw your navel down toward your spine, so engaging that abdominal wall. Good. Lift and lower. If you want to up the level of challenge here, we're going to keep both legs suspended up off the mat as we move between those leg lifts, but don't push it. If that's too much, just keep the legs down on the floor. It's significantly more challenging with the legs lifted. Good. Keep pressing up through those elbows. Keep the chest nice and open and lifted. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Amazing work. Now from here, we're going to lift ourselves up, lift the arms up, lift the hands toward the ceiling, and then fold over the lower body. Just enjoying a nice back body stretch here. Breathing air into the back of the rib cage and slowly exhaling for 3 and 2 and 1. Elevate back up. And now we're going to come down onto our side bodies and do some side lying hip and glute and thigh work. So get nice and long and comfortable on your side. You can be down on your arm like so, or propped up on your hand. Opposite hand is down on the mat for stability and support. We're going to go into some leg circles. So I want you to pick your legs up and then just hinge slightly forward so that you're in a pike position. I'm going to really bend that lower leg so I've got a lot of stability. From here, pointing through the toe of the top leg, we're going to draw some circles. I'm going to circle backwards to start with. Really slow circles. So you can make them a little bit smaller if you need to, if you're losing stability. And by losing stability, I mean that you're rocking around in your torso. So you don't want to be rocking around. You really want to isolate this movement in the lower body. So moving that leg bone around in the hip socket, really mobilizing the hips and strengthening the thighs here. We've got 3. Relax the shoulders for 2. Lengthen through that big toe. And last 1. Now we're going to reverse directions, circling forward, lengthening, and breathing. Good. Lengthening and breathing. As we draw this nice big circle in the air, we're stretching through that leg, using your big toe like a pencil in the air, creating nice, smooth, fluid circles. Last 1, and lower the leg down. Nicely done. Now we're going to bring the leg up, pointed toe, and flex and lower. Lift with a pointed toe, flex and lower. Let's switch on our ab engagement here too. So we're going to inhale to lift, and as we exhale, flex. We're engaging the abdominal wall. It'll help with stability and help us to gently work the abs at the same time. Inhale up, relax those shoulders, exhale down. I like doing a lot of hip mobility movement during this time of the month because my hips can become kind of sore and stiff, and I just feel like stretching the lower body and mobilizing the hips is always a good idea. Lift and lower. Let's take 1 more, bring it up and lower it down. Amazing work. Let's use our hands to come up to the other side. Coming down onto the mat, again getting nice and comfortable, outstretched on your arm or your hand, gluing those legs together, picking the feet up and hinging into the pike. And then I'm going to bend that lower leg for additional stability. Now, we're going to start those leg circles. I'm circling forward to begin with this time. I think I started circling backward on the other side, but it doesn't matter what direction you start off with as long as you get both directions in. Really relax your neck and shoulders. So the last thing you want to be doing is building up tension in this area of the body when you're doing your lower body work. So really try to focus on a long, relaxed neck and shoulders that stay down away from the ears. Again, breathing through it. Nice deep inhales and slow, steady exhales. Amazing. Let's switch directions. Keeping that torso nice and stable. Again, like I said, that might mean that you need to slow down the movement or decrease the size of the circles. That's perfectly fine. Depends on where you're at. Good. We've got 4. Really lengthen through that big toe. And 3. Last 2. and final one. Hold at the top. We'll move right into those lower and lifts. So we're inhaling to come up, exhaling to flex and lower. Lifting and lowering, keeping the spine nice and long, lengthening through the toe and then lengthening through the heel. Inhale up, engage the core as you exhale to lower. We've got 4, 3, 2, and last one, and relax it down. Amazing work. Now from here, we're going to get into some upper body work. Again, nothing too intense, but a nice way of sort of strengthening those upper back muscles. We're going to stretch between each move as well, which is going to feel really good. So we're going to go into some child's pose push-ups here. I'd like you to take your knees nice and wide and bring your big toes together. Now you can either go into the full kind of version of this, your elbows are in close towards your side of your body, you're lowering your chest, so you're just hovering about an inch off the floor, and then you're pushing up through the heels of the hands and sinking back for a nice stretch in child's pose. If that's too much for you right now, I want you to just kind of bend at the elbows, keeping your chest just hovering off the floor, just enough so that you can just feel the backs of the arms switch on, and then press up through the heels of the hands and go back, so you're not lowering down quite as low. So we're coming forward to whatever height or level is comfortable for you, and then really focus on the backs of the arms as you're straightening the arms and pushing the mat away up through the heels of the hands. So lower, push up through the heels of the hands, and stretch and lengthen through that tailbone as you push the hips back toward the heels. Good. Lower, and weight in the heels of the hands as we push back. Again, if you need to slow it down, don't worry about how many reps you get in. Just focus on the stretch between each push-up. Again, keeping those shoulders down away from the ears, keeping the gaze down on the mat and the neck in line with the spine. Really important. 4, 3, stretch, and 2, working the backs of the arms. And last 1, and push the mat away, coming into your child's pose. Amazing. Now from here, we're going to do a similar movement, but we're going to come forward into a plank. So I'd like you to curl your toes, really stretch your arms and your hands as far down on the mat as they can go. We're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to come forward into a plank. Then we're going to shoot back, lowering the knees to the mat into child's pose. So we're coming forward, wrists below the shoulders, and then sending it back, stretching. Coming forward, engaging the core, nice flat line with the body. Soften the knees and stretch back. Forward, abs engaged, and bring it back. Nice work. Shoot forward and send it back on the stretch. We've got 5 and 4. Nice strong upper body. 4, 3, abs are engaged. And 2, hold in plank. Last one, we're gonna come forward and hold in your plank. Lift your abdominal wall for 3 and 2 and 1. Send the hips up toward the ceiling, coming into your downward dog. Stretching and lengthening through the tailbone. Breathing here. We're just gonna pedal out the feet, bending the knees, flattening out the upper back. For 4 and 3, last 2, and final 1. Soften knees down to the floor. And now from here, we're going to come onto the back, lowering down gently, bringing the knees in toward the chest, bringing the soles of the feet together, and then just grabbing a hold of the ankles. You can grab a hold of the feet if that feels more comfortable, and just let the knees splay out to the side. From this stretch, I'd like you to really connect your lower back with the mat, connect your tailbone with the mat, relax your shoulders down away from your ears, and just breathe. Deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth, stretching out those inner thighs, stretching out the hips, and stretching that lumbar spine for 3 and 2 and 1. Lower feet down onto the floor. Use your hands to help you to sit up. From here, we're going to lift up and move into one more forward fold, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth for 3 and 2 and 1. Now we're going to reverse that movement. Windmill your left arm back, windmill your right arm back, and just open through the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth for 3 and 2 and 1. Amazing work. Come to a cross-legged position facing me. Lift your shoulders up by your ears. Inhale and exhale. Roll any tension away. Let's take 2 more. And last one, lift and melt away tension. Amazing work. I really hope that that made you feel better. I hope that you enjoyed that routine. And I really look forward to moving again with you next time. Keep well.